Yo, welcome to Insta Chat with the journalist. I'm the journalist DJ, and my guest today is Moonchild. You know, so yeah, I'm very excited to be talking to her. She's a very colorful being, and yeah, I can't wait. She's a wholesome artist, and she's been in the game for a while. She's taught the rest of the world. She's been to like France. She's taught with the Antwoord. She's been doing amazing things for SA, man. And yeah, Moonchild, I see you on. Let me just add you, okay? And let's get show on the road. I'm laughing now because Moonchild just sent a voice note saying that I'm late. I wasn't late. I was here, and then I had to go out. Hello,
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm awesome. That's so nice to see you. I didn't see. I don't remember. I don't think I saw you last year, and I haven't seen you this year.
Yeah, no, I think I saw you last year, but last year you were very busy.
Which
So
last year? Oh, last year. Last year.
I saw you the year before. Okay, you're right. Yeah, I saw you. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
New Year.
2018.
How
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you.
I remember like one of the thing about you that I'll never forget. We were in Cape Town, doing one of these media tours and stuff, and people are always commenting on your hair. And this girl saw you and she was asking you. She was like, "What color is that?" And you just replied and you said, "It's a reflection." And I was like, "Yo, that's deep." I don't know if you remember that conversation.
But shit, I don't. I don't remember at all. But it makes sense because it's like I'm as deep as the sea. If you call me blue.
Yes, like I was just like, damn, that's deep, and that's the thing about you, man. Like, I think you're a very deep person, but you don't play it, because with your music, I don't know if it's intentional or what, but with your music, with your personality, you're this, fun loving person, but there's a lot of substance to you, and also if you listen to your music, you're saying some stuff, and shout out to you on that. But I want to take it back to the first time I heard your music. It was a song called Rabubi on 5FM.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is just different. This is just different music. And at the time, you were not following trends. Looking back at that time and thinking about where you are at your career right now, has it always been the plan to be where you are?
I'm so motherfucking quickly. Like the thing about it is I get down in what I'm doing, right? And so my initial traveled when I was still in Durban coming to Joburg. I'd written down that I'm coming to Joburg and then I'm going to move to London and then move to New York because I saw myself fit in those spaces. I never limited my dream to just being successful at home because I knew I was different. But also there's a part of I think after at least 5 years of traveling and doing the same festivals overseas, then I sat down and I remember it was 2016. I wrote down and I said, I want to have South Africa be a part of my journey overseas. I don't want to have practices and nothing in South Africa when I'm doing it. So how do I do that? Then I wrote down um, 3 hits by the end of that, and I wanted to have operations in South Africa. To have to change, I have to work with people that have already spoken to South Africa. So if I'm speaking to them, it's going to make my job easier without having to change. So it happened that way. Literally, it didn't happen end of 2016. A year later, I had 3 hits. I think a year later, in fact, I had 3 hits. I had Diplo in that list. I had Gorillaz in that list, and I had Beyonce as my ultimate people in my career to work with. And so
Mm.
things, and for me, like the start of, so I'd be like, I've done one is doing the that, and all that. That's like a going to water the actual prices and even the same as at home. So I always saw myself as a global star. I always saw myself as a person who would be bigger than what I know or bigger. What I knew was I was exposed, especially in the alternative space, I was exposed to people that were doing shows overseas and not known in South Africa. And then I was dealing with superstars in South Africa that weren't known overseas or didn't know. So So now from whatever was an idea, now living in the space where I'm exposed to these people, and it's no longer just an idea, I formulated a way of how that thing that brings them both together. I want to be world as much as I want South Africa to be a part of my world. Because the rands, when there's pounds and dollars and other currencies in the world, you know. So I'm exactly where I see myself being, but it's just the start of where I see myself.
Wow, wow, you know, what a dope answer. But you know, I want to take it a step. Yeah, you know, you answered the question very, very well. But I want to take it a step back, you know, because I interviewed you back in, I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, you know, we're discussing like your image and how obviously different you are with your look and your sound, and you were talking about, you know, people jacking your style, people jacking your hair, you know, a close friend, and also you mentioned like a fashion designer jacking your look, and I'm just wondering, you know, do you still have that problem where people are jacking your style?
So now, because I knew this was going to be happening with my hair, hence I own my hairstyle from word go. And it's trans. I mean, now no one can copy my hair. They can be inspired with other woolen looks, but they can't do the moonwalk because I own it. And I mean, even internationally, they know this now. So it's like I knew my power. I knew my power, even though it was ridiculed in the time of you not knowing because it's new to you. First of all, I also got to understand, even in the time where I'd be like, fuck people, they will get it eventually. I got to a point where even me growing into that power that I knew about, it became about, oh no, a part of being is inspiring. So therefore, you'll have a whole lot of new hairstyles that are made with the wool, and you don't have to give credit to me, but you can be a part of that change in narrative. It doesn't expression of beauty and art doesn't have to just the norm. You know, you can, it's who you are. You are is great. So opening that challenge, and also if people dress the way I used to dress in 2015 in my first album as an alternative person, for me it's like, oh great, I don't need you to come to see you. We're more open. We're not. People don't have to do that. It's fine. But you also just being with yourself and being able to open when you're being seen in public, my job's done. So seeing a lot of women being empowered in the space now in any genre is the part of me knowing that I'm doing my job, because I don't care what they say. No one was dressing like that before I came. Whether they saw me or respected me or didn't, they still were inspired. And my job is being done because I can see it.
Wow. So these comments, these people, you've got crazy followers, man. Speaking about your image and your look, in 2017, you know, you dropped a fashion line called Moonchild Cultwear. It was an online store. I remember, you know, we came to the launch and everything, and you know, how is that like? You know, are you still in that space of fashion? You know, of dropping merch and all that?
Well, with fashion, I haven't had time to meet client to client. It's something I actually studied. But one thing I appreciate about it is the fact that without having money, I still could have an image. With create whatever I have and whatever idea I have, I could bring it to life. So now, I mean, now from the fashion helping me get to the gigs back in the day because they weren't paying enough, become vice versa, where now the music so much and it's taking so much of my time. I literally don't have time to meet clients, but I can mass produce. So now, while working on my album, my main team is based in London. So with them, we're talking with so many different websites that sell the kind of fashion that speaks to me to collaborate. So now I don't have to ever produce on my own again. It's just collaborations rather than me having to make a range, then have to sell it while I'm focusing on the music, because priority now is music. I just want to do fashion as well. I still myself, but I also don't have enough time to dress myself anymore, which means I've had to hire a designer that works with me. And the beautiful thing about that designer, I found someone who can do like next phase of what I was already doing. Someone just coming with an idea of what they think I am, but becomes a part of who I am. Now that's like so. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I have no pressure with regards to producing on my own anymore. When there's teams that are waiting for the album, the official album to drop, because it's a global release, and with that comes collaborations with a global online store, which is gonna make.
Okay. Look, sounds exciting. I'm really curious to see that other side of you, you know. And speaking about you focusing on the music, I noticed that on your news EP you've got a song called F Boys, and I remember you a few years ago you dropped F Boys on SoundCloud. So it's crazy. Like, do you have to like repackage your music now, since obviously you've always been like an international artist, because I believe that a lot of your followers are online, but now do you like consciously now maybe repackage old songs, especially with the next official album? Like, how is that plan, how's the rollout plan looking like for your music?
Okay, so with because I stopped it, right? And it's music that I did for me signing. So because I was independently for the longest, the stuff that didn't get the marketing, I noticed how when I do it, for instance, where my man didn't get here, but it was getting attention overseas, which is also gone. So I know now I know who to work with for like when I'm doing my that sells not just South Africa. And repackaging it now comes with having also testing it, seeing also pushing and getting them to hear the songs that are about what they're getting to understand about me, stemming from Thunder Thighs, literally. Because I think the attention came most from Thunder Thighs. Before that, it was fully disrespect. Now, changing slowly, and a change is a cool actually part of this narrative while I'm on my next. So it was definitely a strategy to just repackage the South and see how far we can push with the new label, because they love the music. In fact, even my first album in 2015 has been repackaged. It's also available from the old label. I owned the master. I could take it to the new label to get an actual push, because especially that one is more electronic, meaning it makes, because it was the electronic music that got me popping outside. And didn't make it like whoa. It's because my dancing is still the same. I still jump around. I still hop my booty. It didn't change the pace, anything else. And also, I get to sing with songs that you would probably never hear here, because you don't think of that side. It's not exposed or spoken about. But I mean, that's why I'm actually curious about how everyone's going to feel about the Gorillaz song. I know how the world is going to feel, because I'm currently like radio now, and I'm playing there almost every day. Actually, I'm playing every day on BBC, because I've got a song with a Grimes artist there that had its own challenge, Real Gets. And so that Grimes song just did wonders for me, because I think mainly because I bumped into the challenge on TikTok, and it was like the main dance. And in South Africa, it's like a challenge that wouldn't happen here because of the moves and stuff. And it was having a whole life there. So we're like, number one, it's locking me and my songs and me hosting and being able to play other South African musicians. So I get to like, I think so far I've hosted like 4 shows, and 2 have played. So like, so London is literally having like a whole thing happening around Moonchild. And is doing its own thing. It's like crazy, because also the other ones where I get to swear are like on high rotation on actual pop stations. And it's just like the freaking visa of being able to be yourself from home. Do you know what, right? In South Africa, people will think speaking English accent makes you sound educated. But in the world, it faces you, because the same way Nigerians are winning in the world is because that same accent we mock is the currency. And if people knew that the actual who they are, where they come from, and their accent is a fucking economy in the world already, before you even say, we would be so far. We wouldn't be talking about that one show we got booked at, but we don't have a crowd, because the reality is you build that over. I've seen South Africa where I've got a show because I've been hosting in that. For instance, like Texas, I've been hosting, and then we go support. And, oh shit, you probably have to come here next year and the year after. There's a support, that loyalty and familiarity. I will go South by Southwest anytime, and people know me. First thing, consistency. Second thing, there consistently as well, going to plant the water to the sea. So by now, I've spoken to the UK, Korea, Sony guys, I've spoken to the US, I've spoken to Jay Brown, I speak to these people, having been there present, And now, with my success comes all those festivals are literally writing about me creating over the years. It wasn't all of a sudden thing, one song and the world. It's that one song that takes you to the world. What is going to keep you? So be proud of who you are. Right? Like your excess money in the world. In South Africa, you'll be undermined, but more to make. Do
You
it.
know, yeah, no, sorry to cut you up. You're touching on a very, very key issue about being original, you know. In South Africa, and I know also locally, you also, you know, radio that is not necessarily playing your songs, especially the songs where you're unique to, you know, when you're true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and now recently we saw with Master KG and Nomzebo with Jerusalem, that song is global, and only South African radio is only playing it now after America says and Europe says, no, 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 this is actually a good song. Now in here, they're like, okay, oh, actually, it's actually a dope song. And now all of a sudden they're playing it. And I know you also, you know, talking about a similar thing. But, and, you know, like, what do you think, like, is the solution? I know you just said that we should be proud and we must speak our own language, but how do we then get, you know, the guys that are actually spinning the songs, the guys that are actually in charge to actually kind of like think differently?
I think what I figured out for myself, basically working with the people that speak the language. Because I feel like any genre, if you've got 10 more genres in South Africa, I promise you I'm not hitting them because I make time to study a genre. I remember before piano, I went to Kabza the Small's house and I did lyrics, I got the attention span and the station of an emotion. On top of that, I didn't want to make it like, hey, party, party, party. I still wanted to maintain that having to tell a story, but not taking it fun at the same time. So with that, I started literally immediately after that. Lihleza, I went to record with Lihleza. Oh, your shit. From your shit. That's it was the first one where I was really cool. Now, not using anything that exists in the streets and creating my own space in this space. So how do I moonchild this? So now it stops becoming about genre, it becomes about music. Because once you're a songwriter, your part of career is being flexible to write emotions in any beat for anyone, which means you're not limited, which also means you're not stuck.
Mm.
So, I mean, radio is playing by is a song produced by a guy in Austria who loves music. He makes electronic music, and together we recorded this when I was in Austria last year, and it came out now, and it's speaking to South Africa because I was pretty about what we're gonna do. I was like, okay, I know the side bit by bit. So how do we do? So I took the progression of the amapiano. I did it with my mouth because I don't make beats, and I recorded my verse, and then so when if it sounded too much electronic, he'll back a little bit without taking him. He had to be conscious of the fact that I don't want it to be world. I don't want it to be Europe or the US. I just want to be speaking to South Africa as well. So radio is here on board, and I mean, even with Standardized now, I did the full length one, where it's just like a female because it was all about empowerment. So in the EP, guys, and the video is also coming out with everyone that participates and fight and win because now we're is also coming out. So I'm super excited, and shout out to South Africans, man, because that was that part that's also showed me the support because it was not letting down, but I didn't expect the reception I got. It was freaking amazing. So, and I couldn't, so I wanted to, as part of celebrating, having my back, and actually this is a start of like sisterhood without forcing, without paying, without you feeling the song and speak to you was the mission, and me fighting was because I wanted it to be heard. And we are heard. So now we're coming on TV as the South African girls in our lounges, lockdown, only celebrating our bodies. Because at least we could be positive about something during that negative time.
I love Thunder Bags. You know, obviously, I mean, it's a dope song. You know, it's a dope song. I can't wait to see the visuals. You know, I just can't wait. By the way, shout out to you on, you know, just, you know, empowering women to be positive about their bodies. I know, you know, you used to do. I don't know if you still do it. You still do the partnering with that club. Is it what's the name of that club?
to do that. I feel like that's in a thing. Which date specifically? I feel like it's part of my trajectory for my, because naturally I should have sex toys. Naturally I should have a place to display those toys. Naturally sexually liberating space. Naturally. So I feel like this is the same. If I now visit that same conversation where tabloids for the misunderstanding and misunderstanding coming from not being exposed to that space, and also having an idea of who I am outside of my brain and my outside of my music and my innocent voice. There's no brain, right? That's what generally is. And it's like you can wank to brain. You think strippers don't have brain? You've got love to actually dance rather than be saving people. Like it's not necessarily always a girl needing help from a man. It's them loving sex so much, they become a sex worker. You've got psychologists sex work. So stop the mentality of women that own sexuality because you think they need saving, or you disrespect them because you need to call them sluts. Then the one who's boring at home is now the submissive motherfucker who can't say, and I don't want missionary anymore. And then you go to the side because you've got wife material. Food said, rather I not be a wife because Nike but fan forever. And so if you're gonna receive my vagina and go get coochies in the street and then come here because you want a plate of food and then I just lay down for you, food tech, I'm going yeah, this.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, we hear you. I hear you, man. But I always wanted to ask you this. Now, you and Busiswa have like this dope relationship, and you guys recently shared on social media that you've been on the grind together. How is that relationship like for you, man?
It's awesome because it's outside of industry, and with us having been friends, getting into the industry from when we started in poetry in Durban, it's just nice to have that real person can still give you real advice in the career, but still be able to celebrate each other. It's very rare, and I love the fact that I didn't bump into it. Not to say relationships that you into are not real, no. But with so much that happens, it's very hard to trust anyone. And so, if you're going through some stuff, there's still that one person before you change your team again because you got betrayed, or before you change your team because you got a misunderstanding. You still have that one person with yours. They can also give you advice in your career. So I find it very awesome because we even know about personal things, and it's not just career based. We just happen to be able to still share the things in the career. And I mean, even the song that we did was the one that broke me into the space. But that is not something like actually I got the commercial people to know. No, it's never been that. It's never been like Choning Fag either. Even with the collabo, it was they played the song in studio. I write all the time. Immediately as the song played, like I'm a 3-second attention span person. So in those 3 seconds, I was like, I've got something. Jumped on. And then I heard her part way after I'd recorded mine. So I didn't even know there was vocals on the song. I didn't even know this. It turned out that my story and the story that together, and it was perfect. So it's like those kind of things where I don't pressurize favors, period. I don't step on people's toes because I believe and I believe in my time. And I believe, like, I even remember Toya as well. Toya is my friend. Never did I make her uncomfortable saying and Dwayne. And so it's like what I people I don't expect people to do to me. So the moment someone is just like, oh, what are you doing? I know I don't do this. I wait for my time, 1 2 time, because I know it's coming. So therefore, it means I can set now, So it's tricky, but you have a real friend.
There's what you're speaking about is interesting to me because I know the industry. It's a very favor driven industry where it's like, I scratch my back, you scratch yours type of thing. And it's beautiful to hear you say that your collaboration with Busi was very organic and it blew up even though you guys were friends before.
Yeah.
And that's one of the songs, actually the song that actually made your career like boom.
Oh.
And before you got to Midnight Staring, or was it during? I don't know. I'm not. I don't remember the timeline correctly. But I remember when you were touring, Europe with the Anvor, you actually put out that you actually need your fans to kind of like crowdfund for you and brands to come on board because you mentioned that touring international was so expensive and all that. And I was a bit confused. I'm like, okay, you know, if you are booked to go overseas and tour, one would think, oh, Flip, you're balling now. But then, you know, you said it was a different situation. So for those who don't know, can you just take us back to that moment?
Now, there's something special about that specific year because the payments. And I was booked by Rock Nation. So it was with the direct team because at Rock Nation, I know there's Naga Jay-Z, Jay Brown manages Rihanna and the Antwoord, basically. So I was speaking to part owner of that place. So because and so this manager of mine in South Africa, she stole it for the tour. She stole it.
Ah,
She stole it. And fortunately for me, through my hard work, it was wanting me, not through her. Actually, got me the gig. I still toured and I still got paid after that. I think she even stole that GoFundMe money because I didn't know she had stolen when she created that. But I later found out when I fired her, just before I toured. She even took out a publication that they for the child or whatever, some bullshit. And I'm like, I've never been on a fucking tabloid. Now I'm on a tabloid for a thief who's not. Then took me to court. Hey, that girl. She took me to court, and I'm pretty sure right now the people. It's that thing. Like, you know what I appreciated actually having styled people in the beginning of my career was I could converse with them. If a brand calls both of us, I don't have the ego to act it because I don't do mahala. I won't be famous broke. That's my part. From when I had 10,000 followers, I was paid by any brand. So I've been like fame wasn't not the drive. Being famous for what I do would be, and therefore I will not do anything for fame. I'll be famous being paid. So now I've been able to ask if they say they're giving them 80,000 and they're giving someone 60,000. I'm just like, no way. So I could go, but now you know what you find. You find 5 people that have to act with each other about how much and they could have gotten more if they didn't have ego and lies to act like they've made it. Because communication is everything. Like, especially having like people that you can speak to openly. You need that so that you can bounce off because brands will always bank on you being wanting to do the job, but they're banking on you because you've already done a job. That's why they need you there. So you mustn't be scared because you know there's more. I ain't talking at 100. I'm not talking at 100,000. You're talking about my followers, but you came to me because you know about my impact. My impact, I've got 300,000 followers, but the impact is an actual one. You could have someone with 1 million, but interaction is not the same. I was conscious of even with the 10,000 followers, I interact, I respond, so that you see an actual conversation. When I speak to brands, you're seeing this person communicates. It's not advertising. It's a part of, you know. So. I mean, shout out to being able to hustle and not being desperate because I've gotten deals before, but I was like a deal that never understood my mission because I was never going to make it a job to sing. I want the way I see and I've written my career. So but I'll be hungry until I get the right one. And I started lockdown, I was lucky girls, honey.
wow, wow! I wasn't expecting that, but I'm glad you bounced back from being screwed over by people that you trust. It's that's how the game is like. We all know that.
The next management team, they stole again while I was in hospital. I was fighting for my life. Like I had malaria from a show I didn't, and I got back. So I went to Malaria, came back for 2 weeks, and then I went to LA to go shoot, and then I went to Austria to go perform. So when I landed after I travel, I'd obviously gotten malaria the whole time I was traveling, and when I landed, I think like 3-4 days later I was in ICU, just like I'm just like fucked out. But I remember I saw when I was in the gates of heaven, Jesus like this, how can you are spent? That means you can't see our sins. I'm not ready to come to heaven, so I've got a song to do, and I knew I'd already shot with Beyonce, so I wasn't gonna die and have it play and say R.I.P. Moonchild. No, I said I want to be there. So I'm just kwasabi bhuti ngizokunikeza inkinga la kwa so ngicela ungiyekele ngaphila ke sengila.
Wow. Look, I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you made it. Wow. Your story is amazing, man. You know, your story is crazy. Okay, so you did a deal which I thought was very cool with Puma, the Nova deal, the sneaker. I thought it was great, and then it went quiet. Like
Ah, Puma.
yes, the Nova sneaker. Did they create a sneaker for you, or what was happening there?
No, 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 no. I was just the face of the sneaker. We haven't made our sneakers yet. Yet.
Oh,
You
oh, okay.
go
So
with
they're still coming.
and bondage. You'll wear the sneaker with some chains. Like you'll know when it's me. It's coming. Don't worry. It's in my list of life.
Okay. Okay. I won't ask any follow-up questions on that. I know it's coming. So I can't wait. By the way, I know it's gonna be dope,
It's gonna be
and
lit.
yeah, it's gonna be lit. When I listened to your lyrics, né, I caught you perform in 2018 December, I think. Yeah, 2018 December
Mm-hmm.
in Soweto. You just released a song with, or you were about to release a song with Heavy K called Yebo Mama, and I was like, yo, this song is amazing, right? And the visuals came out, and I think you were putting your heart out, but you do it the Moonchild way, You're very
We
playful, but you're spitting facts.
were happy or yes.
Yeah, because you're performing with your dancers, and I saw when you performed that song, I could feel the emotion from that song, and I don't know if I was the only person that could feel it, but was when you perform that song, I can hear what you're saying, but what is that song? I think for me that's one of your favorite songs. Am I correct by saying that?
It's definitely one of my favorite songs, mainly because that one was more personal outside of what people do to you. It was about my mom being dead and me knowing I'm the only child that's an example from her womb. Excuse me. Also knowing that I'm the only one who's gonna do her tombstone because if she was alive, I'd still be the only one who would change her life because the other children are not coming to the party. So it was basically, don't worry, I'll be back. I'll fix your things. Cool, great. I know you're watching me, and that's how I'm succeeding like this. Because I don't think if she was here, I would have been able to break through the other things. I feel like I don't know. It was out of my power, but something happened, and I'm here. You know, uh, and so it's always like whenever I miss, I'm just like actually. It's like a sacrifice that she had to make to be better because she was present in the other disappointing children's lives and they were disappointed and how was she going to change it with me, who she was hopeful about? I mean, she didn't kill herself, but things happen for a reason. And I feel like if she was physically here, I don't know if I'd be here the same way because I come from a very spoiled background. Not well, but and so her dying and me running away from home at 19, I had to grow up very, very fast because I still had that part of her that's a hustler. And basically, yeah, I feel like I'm better off without her here, but I can still do the things that I appreciated.
Wow, thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's dope. And also, obviously, you're getting blessings from your mom. I mean, that's why you could work with Beyonce. My
And
question is, how did you keep that a secret? Especially like the when the visuals, the visuals element. Okay, the single I get, but how did you keep it a secret that you shot the music video with Beyonce? You were with Beyonce. I don't know what was the setup like. No, it didn't leak. What did you sign?
we were secretive. We were actually very secretive before even signing. I think we signed maybe a month before the song came out. And such a big thing. Do you know when you do your top three in the world,
Mm.
the moment you're going through on your own, you don't even need the world to tell you anything. Like you're going through this thing on your own because it has to work or it has to work. I never sweat so much in studio. And this is like half because I was involved in so many different songs. I didn't even know which song I was going to make into. I was like, a part of the album. And I would be in studio. Even the team recording with was specific. We'd stay in studio. If there's someone extra who's a visitor, we don't say that anyone's name. So I'm just recording. I can't hear her voice. And then some will be beats. And I'm just like creating stuff for like ideas and all that. So, I mean, from the time they used my song, Ooh, do you remember? Um,
When they used your song, which song?
Naila Walk, the summary of shopping in South Africa.
Oh, yes, yes, I remember that.
He made a private party before all of that. And so I was liaising with the team. And even found out after I'd already done this connection. And the co-director has basically become a good friend of mine now, Ukwesi. Hanging around, and because I'm not and I know I'm in my own lane, it wasn't like, oh, I must keep it here. I knew what it was for. I didn't know what project it was for. I knew who it was for. And so then we went around checking out live performances and cool people in Joburg, basically. And it was a very open thing. So anyone but I guess I was also picked because it was a part of it being mine, but it also my part came with an open heart. And so I just everything. Like, you go to studio at 6 and then you leave at 3 p.m. and you're just still waiting for approval, but you know not yet. So now you can't be at the club to have the stressless drink you can't post because it's like proof you've been slacking. Why are you drinking before the approval? So it was the most exciting time spent in studio, most invested time in a song. Like I'd spend a week on a song. It wasn't so it was just like it was a lot for me to go through on my own reality. I didn't even need the world's affirmation. I didn't need any, I could keep it to myself because I was going through mine. And the world will know in due time.
Wow.
Because it's one of those things like you talk about it, someone says, nah. I've talked about working with Beyonce as my ultimate in interviews. People quoted me on Twitter, they brought them back. And people will laugh or whatever. And now I'm like...
Wow. Look, very proud of you about that. Very, very, very dope. And I know more will come. And also, the feature with the Gorillaz, I mean, those guys, I know them as cartoon characters or anime or whatever people call them. Did you meet them? I think, are they still mysterious to the world?
In the world, I performed with them. My first 80,000 audience was in Budapest during Gorillaz performance in 2018. I've worked with the lead singer, Alban, for years. We even have, like the same tattoo here. Music share. Wow. Same tattoo after she's got this as well. And so from the time he met me, he was like, what a global superstar. And so my access to him now is the same access I have to Diplo. I go to his house to record in LA or anywhere. And if he's playing, we're playing together. The last time we played together was Super Bowl with him, but we did Coachella together last year. We did all these things together. But it's like...
Hello? Hey, I think I lost you for a sec.
Sorry,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying that, so yeah, with having that access and stuff like that, because I performed with Gorillaz in Budapest, so I know them physically. I know that the whole band and all that jazz. I know the guys. I smoke weed in the Gorillaz lead singer's house. It's like chill. Wow. It's like it's people I hang with. So coming from the, oh my God, it's my dream, actually being friends and being respected by people you grew up wanting to work with. Like, the craziest thing, to a point where I'm like, everything is possible. I can't work within the world, period.
That's very inspirational. That's very dope. I'm a fan. I hope you'll introduce me one day to the Gorillaz, so that I can get to meet them. Okay, last question. I know I've been asking you a lot of questions, and thank you so much for,
no, you
answering this.
It's very nice. You always
do. Your Nudes EP, right? When just the name, and I saw a comment on Twitter today, and I was on the floor. Someone said, "Yeah, you call an EP nudes, but you don't even send one yana."
I don't send.
What's your response to that?
I don't send nudes in real life. So that EP is literally because like how when things don't work out after that fun time of sharing nudes and stuff like that. So it all guys feel like they can empower a woman by showing that vulnerable side when they were having fun. And for me, so let's take back that shit. Let's take it back like how we did hoe and bitch and it does not touch us or affect us. Where first thing you Google a vagina, check when if the person sees you've seen your vagina before, you Google the last condition, whether they saw it shaved or not. This is like my trick in life. Then you crop it, you never say your own. And then they look like idiots when they have to do shit, you know. On top of that, the whole thing in the song, out the songs project are all about a woman who has a voice. Whether it's girls and boys, where I like girls and I like boys, go with my partner to the strip club because we openly talk about it. And I've even got a preference of a stripper, to going to church and praying about making you question about having to pray about loyalty of a man because you're religious, when you can just decide without religion. The power is in your hands. You can go pay a relationship therapist and actually fix real life. To next time you need to come correct or don't come at all. I don't want to eat in a franchise. I want a restaurant. So when you call me, please have it. And phone, please call me. So it's really different parts of a woman who can speak, vocalize exactly what they want, how they, or question what they're not saying. So nudes, which being the main word of like disempowering a woman, but the one I need, the power of the woman.
Mm. Okay, very dope. You know, like I said when I started the interview, you're a genius because you know how to get society's attention, and while you have them, then you know you hit them with the knowledge, you hit them with the consciousness. So yeah, man, I appreciate you and thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to you making major moves. You know, I know you always have tricks up your sleeve. You're always coming through with surprises. I know you're gonna do a lot more for the music scene for women in South Africa. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, Moonchild. I just said thank you so much for your child. Thank you so much for your time, Moonchild. I really appreciate it. Is there anything that I missed out that you just wanna say?
You're great interview, period. Nothing. You're so great. Thank you so much.
I know. Thank you, Siabonga. And to everybody that's watching,
Okay?
thanks for watching. The interview will be available on thejournalistdj.com. It will also be available on my wall. And yeah, good night. And by the way, shout out to, thanks for the lights. Very entertaining.
Peace,
Bye.